Today we're talking about why people are always testing the INFJ. And this is actually a topic that I don't think I've ever talked about, although it's something that we all have experienced, that we are in certain situations and people continuously seem to be pushing our buttons. And even if we're in a place in our life where we're not fighting back, we don't want the drama, all we want is to just duck down, keep our head low and just allow those people to move out of our way, right? We've all been in these situations because we either said this doesn't deserve my energy, or I just want people to lose interest in me. That's all I'm asking for. Why do they keep testing me? Why do they keep pushing me? And at some point you will explode. At some moment you will allow this INFJ rage to come out. That's those situations when you have the INFJ door slammed. That's when people get to a place where they said, "Oh, I've never expected you to be this way. I'm totally shocked." Because, people don't know what we're capable of when it comes to these psychological things. And this isn't just this typical thing of saying, why are people testing me? And, I'm actually much stronger than what people expect. And I just don't want them to get hurt or anything like this. This isn't the superficial answer of, I'm just this superhero in disguise and I can't be the supervillain and there's a dark side about me. And people just keep doing these selfish things. And at some moment I will explode. I don't like this. People are shocked. And it's just like this whole big drama that I didn't anticipate, I didn't want, and now they see that they shouldn't have messed with me. Like, that might all be true, but that is still not the reason why people are testing you. Because if they knew what you were capable of, they wouldn't be doing this. And since they don't know, why are they acting differently towards you in comparison to your friend, for example? I'm going to tell you exactly why. Before we get into this, remember, if you haven't done this so far, to download the 5 Pillars to an INFJ Epic Life. It's a free poster. You can get it in the link in the description. And if you say, I'm ready for the next step, the new year is right around the corner. I want to live that INFJ Epic Life. I'm ready for a community. I'm ready for a system. I'm ready to make those changes in my life. Then join the waiting list. Our next live round is in January. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Again, all the information you find below. The reason why people are testing you is because you're not giving them any feedback at all. And I really want us all to let this sink in. I remember this one thing somebody said about me, and it's probably like 10 years ago, but it still stuck with me because at first I was sort of taken back. I didn't understand it. And now it makes complete sense. There's this guy I liked and I sort of liked him from the distance, and he didn't really have an opinion about me at all. Like, it was this whole messed up thing. But the point was that he told my friend, there's absolutely nothing I can say against or for Wenzes because I have no idea who she is and what she's about. Yes, she's kind. Yes, she can be cool in certain situations. She can be fun, but there's absolutely nothing I could say against her. There's nothing I could use as munition. There's nothing I could say that in any kind of way could discredit her. And you might say, well, isn't that like a good thing? Yeah, it is if you're playing a role. It is really, really great if you want to protect yourself. And we as INFJs, we have learned this. We have learned to let others make mistakes, to blur things out so we actually know what they're about, where their weaknesses are, where like their vulnerable spots are. I mean, think about it. We as INFJs so often, have this image in our mind of who that person is. And very often we're actually right about this. And how do we do that? We lean back, we observe, we actually make space for others to be themselves. But what we don't anticipate in that moment is that in order to do that, that other person has absolutely no idea who we are. Like, I've had clients in the past, and we talked about certain situations when you get to meet somebody at first and they said, I lean back. I don't say so much about myself. I want to see how they are in their natural habitat, right? In their whole being without my personal energy being part of it. And this is something we INFJs do so often, particularly in our default state when we haven't started our INFJ Epic Life and I'm, integrating myself and my life and, I'm ready to start building a foundation. But the problem is twofold. Number one, you don't know how that person is around you when you're really yourself. You don't know how they're going to react once you tell them that you don't believe in watching the news because you don't want to be inflicted by all of this negative energy. You don't show them that you're actually somebody who, in the end of the day, is going to fight for yourself and is going to make stuff happen, and that you're really, really strong inside. And sometimes we don't want to show that because we don't want others to feel like we're dimming their light, so actually we're dimming our own light. Like, these are just a couple of examples. So that is one of the problems, and that's something that we see in those dynamics, that we sort of just add ourselves to the other's world. We become a bystander, an observer, somebody that is a sidekick, somebody that helps others in their world view. But at some point, we will have those needs of, I want to be seen. And then once you start expressing that, people actually don't like it. They don't like the fact that you start fighting for yourself, that you're being yourself, that you have different opinions. And a lot of this tension comes up. And you might say, well, then this is just not a good person. But you have to understand that for every person, it is a hard transition. If one day you were this person who seemingly in their eyes liked everything they liked because you never said anything else, to this person who now says, no, I like these things and they're completely different than yours, and the first time I make you see them. This makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But that actually explains the second aspect, and actually the reason why people are testing you. Because we all, and I mean absolutely everybody, if you're an INFJ, if you're another type, it doesn't matter. We all want to have an understanding of who the person is we're dealing with. And we as INFJs know this even better than most because we make those assessments so early on. We actually test situations out. We say things and see how other people react, and because of that, we make conclusions. And these things, they almost happen on autopilot. But what is another person to do? You're not showing anything. It seems like it's this tactical, strategic thing of, if I don't show parts of myself, I'm not vulnerable. That person doesn't know what things trigger me. They don't know what actually upsets me. They might not know certain selfish aspects of me, right? I'm this person who just does everything to make a person comfortable. And that is also the thought that we have when we say, I'm actually trying for them to forget about me. I'm not in their way. I'm not saying anything to upset them. I'm making myself as small as possible, and I just want them to stop testing me. I want them to stop energetically interrogating me and to just keep moving. And so often this doesn't happen. And very often it happens with people who had a glimpse of what you're actually capable of. And I can tell you one thing, you can try to duck as much as you want. You can try to convey this image of, oh, I completely understand you. At some point, you're going to be human. At some point, some parts of you are going to come out that will show that person, no, you're not this person they thought you were, that you tried to pretend in order to make them feel good. We don't have bad intentions with these things. We want another person to feel comfortable. But we're all humans. So at some point you will say something which will show that you're actually stronger or different than what they thought. And then it's like, And that's when people start testing you. And it comes from a place of needing control. And again, we need that too. We want to understand another person, because once you understand that person, you can categorize them. You can know, now that I understand you, I know what I should be afraid of. I know what I shouldn't be afraid of. You as an INFJ, to a lot of people, are just this mysterium. And if for 1 second something comes out that makes them just, fall off their chair, and we've all experienced this many times, and we ask ourselves, what just happened? These people are going to continuously test you because they need to know where your boundaries are. They need to know what you're about. They need to know what is the thing that's going to annoy you so much, which is going to trigger you so much that now you're going to have a reaction. And so often we as INFJs try everything in our power not to fall into this, right? We just pull back, and this is one of our strengths. But people are not going to stop. And then at some point it's like, this monster comes out, and people are like, completely, I didn't expect this. And afterwards we ask ourselves, why did you need to test me? I didn't want to bring this part of me out. But we also have to acknowledge the part we play in this, because it's extremely hard for any human being to be around somebody when we don't know what kind of danger lays there. We don't know what the INFJ is capable of. We just gotten a glimpse of, there's just something that makes me uncomfortable. And, I need to figure out what that is, because this isn't just about, that one INFJ, but it's about like who we are. Because think about it. If we INFJs really burst out, if we really hit back, it always comes from a place of, I know actually where one of your weaknesses is, and I'm going to hit you there. And then it's like your worldview collapses, right? It's on a psychological level. So when somebody is testing an INFJ, it very often isn't just about you as a person, it's about their whole worldview, and they need to know. They need to know what is going on there, and we all have done this as well. Like, maybe not in testing others in, I'm going to at some point just push you so you like freak out, but we test people out with, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be even more kind, I'm going to really overextend myself. At what point are you going to acknowledge what I'm doing for you? Very often it comes to a place where we have to say, it's not about testing. That person will continue to do this. I have to be the one who now steps up. And now that I've worked with, so many INFJs, I've probably talked to over 1,000 INFJs over the last 7 years. And, there is something to it. Now that I've actually interacted with other INFJs, I saw for the first time those aspects that maybe others saw in me, but since I didn't have any contact with other INFJs, I didn't see it. But this is such a typical INFJ thing to do. I omit parts of myself. I don't show strengths of myself. I actually make myself part of who they are. I integrate myself into their taste, into their music, and we do it from a place of, interest and wanting to understand the other person. But what we very often just forget to take into consideration is that we don't give that person a chance to get to know us. We don't give a person a chance to know what the things are that are our boundaries, where our limits lay. And the more we actually start integrating that, and we start actually accepting this as part of who we are, and we start living and acting this way on a regular basis, guess what? People are not testing you. Because at the first sign of them doing something that is not in alignment with the person you want to be, they see that. They understand, oh, okay, here's a boundary, here's a little bit more I know about that person, and they themselves can then make a conclusion of, do I want to get to know that person more or not? But that's on them now. But before we thought we take all of that responsibility onto us, but it's just not possible, and it really pushes us into a lot of trouble that doesn't make us happy. The more you start building this foundation, the more you become solid in the person you want to be. And that's why I'm always pushing those 5 pillars, to an INFJ Epic Life and saying, join the bootcamp. Once you understand that you can build this foundation, it just becomes second nature. And you get happy from your core out, and every single interaction you have, it always happens from this place of, I'm a human as well. I'm not an observer only. I'm not somebody who just, sees what you're doing in your life and I might add my 2 cents to it and I ask myself why I still feel so empty. No, we are this solid person just as anybody else, and we find a compromise in all of that. And then people don't test you, because yes, people test you every single day in a way, but it's like on such a normal state. It doesn't go overboard because you actually give a reaction. You're not afraid anymore of being who you are and expressing that, because there isn't this fear of, oh, they might find out who I really am, because we ourselves have accepted that. So remember to download the poster if you haven't done this so far, and if you know that you're at this place where you're ready for the next step, join the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. Next round is in January, the link is in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ is So Intimidating.